Hey Yamato, this is Alan Cockrell with ABC, former hitting coach for the Colorado Rockies and the Seattle Mariners. We're going to take a look at your video this afternoon. I really like your setup. I think you're very balanced, and I think you look very athletic. Um, for me, I always look to make sure knees are inside the feet and head's inside the knees. And if we can start in that position, maintain that position where our knees don't get outside of our feet or our head outside of our knees, we're going to be in pretty good athletic position throughout. We want to be in that from our setup all the way through our swing and into our follow through and finish. So you're in a very, very good athletic position. Taking a look at your load here, you got a little bit of a step back. That's unique. That is actually a drill that I'll do with guys that have a hard time getting back. I'll just have them step back 3 or 4 inches, and you do that in your BP session right here. So that's a good way to feel your weight getting to your backside. Now, one suggestion that I'm going to make to you here is when we load, we want to try to get weight to the inside part of this back thigh. And we want to keep this knee inside this foot, as I mentioned. So we want to try to feel the weight in our load more on the inside part of this back foot. I watch you load a little bit here, and we get a little bit of sway. So we step back, which gets us back, and then we go ahead and then we kind of sway back with our body back in this direction. We kind of get this knee outside this foot right here. So I would ask you to maybe do one or the other. Either go ahead and just kind of rock back with your weight, keeping that weight right in here on the inside part, or step back. Either one, that's fine. We're doing a couple of different things here, and it's kind of getting us too far back over our backside, just a little bit in our load. Okay, I'm going to take this forward. Okay, and then you've even got a little step back. So now you've really got this knee outside of this back foot, so we're going to have to go forward a lot to get that transfer going into the front side. Okay, so when I look at the load itself, the load's not actually over until this back heel will land on the ground. Most people land with their toe first, as you do, and then it's not until that back heel right there plants into the ground. Now I'm loaded. Okay, now at this position, I look at some other things. I want to make sure I've got good athletic bend in both knees, equal bend in both knees, and we've gotten so far back, Yamato, in our load that we've kind of got a lot of weight just sitting over here on this back side. Just a lot of stuff just kind of sitting over here on this back side, so this front knee has kind of stiffened out a little bit early. The other thing that I look for is to make sure that our hips are square to home plate. We got just a little bit of leak with that front hip, and here's the reason I think we have leak with the front hip. One of the biggest things that I look for is when players heel plant into the ground, I take a look to see if where their stride foot is. If this stride foot is open more than 45 degrees, then we're probably going to get a quick front hip or a leaky front hip right here. Okay, that's going to want to go first. So what we want to try to do is when this heel plants, we want to have this foot more at a 45-degree angle. That's going to keep us on the ball longer. It's going to keep us squared up. It's going to give us a better opportunity to handle pitches outer half, outer third. It's going to give us a better chance to handle breaking balls from right-handed pitchers and not make us more inner half dominant in our swing. Okay, so we go forward. Now we're starting to transfer our weight. Our lower half is a source of power. It's also a source of direction, okay, to the ball. But that first move is going to be with this back knee, and I'm going to transfer the weight that I've got from my backside into this front leg right here, the inner part of that front leg. That's the transfer. First move that I make with my hands is actually the elbow. This back elbow is going to drop down into the slot, as yours does. You do a nice job of that. Drops right down in there. You're in a good position. Okay. The next thing we look for is make sure that we got a connection. Shoulder, elbow, back hip are all in alignment. And I don't want to get my hands working in front of this power source of this connection with my shoulder, elbow, and back hip. I want my hands to trail that, and then when that elbow drops down in that slot, then my hands will start to work forward, out here in front of my body, just past my center of gravity, out here in front of my body. Okay, so we're going to run forward. Okay, the hands start to clear. They get out in front of your body. We get to contact. See some good things at contact. I see palm up, palm down. That's the strongest position you can be in. See your head and eyes looking right down the barrel of the bat at contact. That's a great habit to get into. And one of the biggest things that we do is try to get our guys to keep their head and eyes in the hitting area at 1 count past contact. That way we ensure that we get maximum extension through the baseball. Okay, it's important to know as soon as your head and eyes come up to follow the flight of the ball, that's the direction that your bat's going to go as well. So it's a good habit. Keep that head and eyes there past contact. Okay, we'll run it past contact. The ball leaves. Your head and eyes are still right down the barrel of the bat. That's good. We're starting to get good extension with the barrel of our bat facing the pitcher, and then we get a good full long finish in the swing. So, and you finish under balance. A good backside turn with that hip. Shoelaces are facing the pitcher. Everything looks good. What I'd like to do is I'd like to maybe kind of clean up your load just a little bit. I don't mind the step back. In fact, I think it's unique. Like I said, it's a drill that I use. But let's either go with the step back right there, or let's go with the toe tap and the weight shift, one or the other. But to do both, actually you got 3 loads going on. You're transferring to your back leg. After you step back, you're transferring weight back to your back leg, and then you have a toe tap. Okay? So let's just go with one of those loads. And you pick it, whatever's most comfortable, but it's going to be less to do. It's going to be more repeatable. It's going to get you into a good hitting position. And right now you got 3 different things going on. It's going to be tough to get the timing of that, of those three different things going on in your load. Okay. The next thing I want you to do is we're going to set a tee on the outside part of the plate. I'm going to set it even with my stride foot. Okay, outer half, outer third, and I'm going to work to drive this ball to the right side of the cage. If we're on a field hitting off the tee, we're going to work to drive this ball through the second baseman or line drives into right center field. The biggest thing I want you to try to pay attention to is when your foot lands and your heel plants, this heel right here plants down into the ground, let's make sure that our hips are square to home plate. Okay, this front side's not leaking out of there. And let's make sure that our stride foot is at a 45 degree instead of, I think yours was at 61. Let's close that up a little bit, and by setting this tee on the outer third of the plate, forcing us to stay on this ball and hit through this ball into the off field, it's going to help us stay on it, stay more squared up with this stride foot and this front hip. All right, I think that's a drill that will help you do a lot of things very, very well. I want to thank you for coming to our camp.